The tranquil morning of March 10, 2009, in rural Alabama, offered no hint of the terror that was about to unfold. In less than an hour, Michael McLendon would transform peaceful communities into scenes of unimaginable horror. This isn't just a story of a mass shooting. It's a chilling descent into the mind of a killer. A desperate act fueled by perceived grievances and despair, culminating in Alabama's deadliest shooting spree. The echoes of that day still reverberate, a stark reminder of how quickly ordinary life can shatter into a nightmare. Join us as we unravel the tragic events, the lives lost, and the lingering questions surrounding Michael McLendon's rampage. Before we delve into this harrowing account, remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Our story begins in Kinston, Alabama, a small town where Michael McLendon lived with his mother, Lisa White McLendon. On that fateful Tuesday afternoon, around 3:30 p.m., the first act of violence occurred. McLendon shot and killed his mother and their 3 dogs, then set their home ablaze. The fire, a deliberate act of destruction, consumed the house, erasing any immediate evidence of the horrific crime within. This initial act of matricide marked the beginning of a rampage that would claim many more lives. The fire department arrived to find the house a raging inferno. Entry was impossible, and the true nature of the tragedy remained hidden. As McLendon sped away from Kinston, leaving behind the burning remnants, the clock began ticking on the lives of others. From Kinston, McLendon drove to Samson, a slightly larger community where his violence escalated. His next target was the home of his maternal uncle, James Alfred White. On the porch, McLendon encountered his uncle, 2 cousins, and neighbors Andrea Dawn Myers and her 18-month-old daughter. In a brutal and indiscriminate attack, McLendon opened fire, killing all 5 individuals. Miraculously, Andrea Myers' 4-month-old daughter, Ella, survived her gunshot wounds. Her 4-year-old son, who was inside the house, remained unharmed. McLendon's aunt also escaped injury. The scene was one of innocent domesticity, a tableau of life utterly oblivious to the approaching harbinger of death. The porch, a symbol of Southern hospitality, was about to become a site of unimaginable horror. Leaving this massacre, McLendon proceeded next door to the home of his maternal grandmother, Virginia Et White, whom he also shot and killed. The sheer brutality and familial targeting painted a grim picture. A man consumed by rage and a desire for vengeance against those closest to him. The small, close-knit community of Samson was plunged into chaos and terror as news of the shooting spread. Targeting his own grandmother, a woman who had likely shown him nothing but love, was particularly shocking. The air in Samson was now thick with the smell of gunpowder and the chilling realization that something evil was unfolding. McLendon then took his rampage to the streets, driving erratically and firing indiscriminately at anyone he encountered. His path of destruction continued as he shot and killed Sonia Marie Smith, a gas station attendant, and Bruce Wilson Malloy, a motorist. The senselessness of these killings underscored the indiscriminate nature of his violence. The randomness of these killings added a layer of terror, as no one knew who might be next. The terror on the streets of Samson was palpable. People scattered, seeking refuge wherever they could find it. The sound of gunfire echoing through the town. The final fatality was James Irvin Starling, a 24-year-old man McLendon shot in the back as he attempted to flee. 4 other individuals were wounded, their lives forever altered by the random acts of violence. McLendon's actions transformed the ordinary afternoon into a scene of panic and bloodshed. With residents scrambling for cover and law enforcement mobilizing to confront the unfolding crisis, the community was left in a state of shock, unable to comprehend the scale of the violence that had just occurred. As McLendon drove along Highway 52 towards Geneva, he continued to fire from his car, engaging in a high-speed chase with law enforcement. The pursuit covered 24 miles, with McLendon exchanging gunfire with officers. During the chase, Geneva Police Chief Frankie Lindsay was wounded, The intensity of the pursuit highlighted the extreme danger McLendon posed, as he showed no signs of stopping. The chase was a harrowing experience for both the officers and the residents who witnessed it, as McLendon showed a complete disregard for human life. The bravery of the officers was evident. The chase culminated at Reliable Building Products, a company in Geneva where McLendon had previously worked. He crashed his car into the building and engaged in a final shootout with police. Surrounded and cornered, Michael McLendon ultimately took his own life inside the building. The rampage, which had lasted for almost an hour, from approximately 3:30 p.m. to 4:17 p.m., finally came to a violent end. The end of the rampage brought relief, but it was quickly overshadowed by the immense loss of life and trauma. Investigators later discovered that McLendon was heavily armed, carrying an SKS rifle, a Bushmaster rifle, and a .38 caliber pistol. He had fired over 200 rounds during his spree, and a large amount of additional ammunition was found in his car, suggesting he had intended to continue his deadly assault. The sheer volume of weaponry underscored the premeditated nature of his actions. The motive behind McLendon's horrific actions remains complex and somewhat unclear. Reports indicated he had been suffering from depression and harbored grievances against his family, whom he felt were not providing him with enough support. A letter he mailed to authorities shed some light on his troubled mind, revealing thoughts of depression and a sense of being wronged. His background as a police trainee may have played a role in his choice of weapons and his ability to engage in a shootout with law enforcement. The victims of the Geneva County shootings ranged in age from 18 months to 74 years old, representing a cross-section of the community. They were mothers, fathers, children, neighbors, and strangers, all caught in the path of one man's destructive rage. The tragedy left an indelible mark on the small towns, forever changing the lives of those who survived and the memory of those who were lost. The impact on the families of the victims was profound, as they were left to pick up the pieces of their lives. In the aftermath, the communities grappled with grief, shock, and the daunting task of healing. The Geneva County shootings remain the deadliest mass shooting in Alabama's history, a somber reminder of the fragility of peace and the devastating impact of unchecked anger and mental distress. The story of Michael McLendon serves as a cautionary tale, prompting ongoing discussions about mental health, gun violence, and community safety. The community's resilience in the face of such a tragedy was a testament to the strength of their bonds. The investigation into the shootings was extensive, involving local, state, and federal agencies. Investigators spent weeks processing multiple crime scenes, interviewing witnesses, and analyzing evidence. They sought to understand every detail of McLendon's movements and his state of mind. The sheer volume of evidence was overwhelming, and the task of piecing it all together was daunting. The investigation also looked into McLendon's history, including his time as a police trainee. The community's reaction to the shootings was one of profound shock and sadness. In the days following the event, the towns were filled with a sense of mourning. Businesses closed, schools were shuttered, and residents gathered in churches and community centers to support each other. The outpouring of support from across the state and the nation was significant. However, for the families of the victims, the pain was personal and enduring. The psychological profile of Michael McLendon that emerged was one of a man who felt increasingly isolated and marginalized. He reportedly felt that his family was not providing him with the support he needed, and he harbored a deep-seated resentment towards them. His choice of targets was a clear indication of this resentment. The fact that he also targeted innocent strangers suggested that his rage had expanded beyond his family. The legacy of the Geneva County shootings is one of tragedy and loss, but it is also one of resilience and community strength. The towns have worked hard to heal and to move forward, but the memories of that day remain. The memorials that have been erected serve as a permanent reminder of the lives that were lost, and the impact of the tragedy on the community. The ongoing discussions about mental health and gun violence continue. The impact of the shootings on the law enforcement community was also significant. The officers who were involved in the pursuit and the final shootout were left to deal with the trauma. The wounding of Geneva Police Chief Frankie Lindsay was a stark reminder of the risks that officers face every day. The law enforcement agencies involved worked tirelessly to bring an end to the rampage and to provide answers. The media coverage of the shootings was intense, with news organizations from around the world descending on the small towns. The story of the Alabama Rampage was a major news event, and the details of the tragedy were shared with a global audience. While the media coverage helped to bring attention, it also placed a significant burden on the community. In the years since the shootings, the communities have continued to remember the victims and to support each other. Annual memorial services are held, and the names of the victims are read aloud. These services are a time for reflection. The psychological impact on the survivors was also profound. Many have had to deal with long-term trauma. The community has worked to provide support and resources for these individuals, but the healing process is slow. The Michael McLendon shooting spree remains a somber reminder of the devastating impact of violence and the importance of community support and mental health awareness. The lives lost will never be forgotten. Their memories continue to inspire efforts to prevent similar tragedies in the future. The story is a testament to the fragility of peace and the resilience of the human spirit. The final moments of Michael McLendon's life were a stark contrast to his quiet life. The shootout with police was a violent and chaotic end to a day of unimaginable horror. The fact that he chose to end his own life, rather than face the consequences, was a final act of desperation. The investigation into the final moments of the rampage provided a detailed account of the shootout. The legacy of the Michael McLendon shooting spree is one that will continue to be felt for many years to come. It is a story of a man who was consumed by rage and despair, and of a community that was forced to face the unthinkable. The victims of the shootings will always be remembered, and their stories will continue to be told. The resilience of the communities of Kinston, Samson, and Geneva is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. As we reflect on the events of that day, we are reminded of the importance of compassion, understanding, and support. The story of Michael McLendon is a tragic one, but it is also a call to action. It urges us to be more aware of the struggles of those around us and to work together to build a more supportive society. In the end, the Michael McLendon shooting spree was a senseless act of violence that left a trail of destruction and grief. But in the wake of the tragedy, a community emerged that was stronger and more united than ever before. They have worked together to heal, to remember, and to move forward. The story of that day is a reminder of the power of community and the importance of supporting each other in times of need. Thanks for watching. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe.